This is Country Music Dads, the parenting podcast with a twang. We're bringing you highly subjective, sometimes questionable, but always authentic country music analysis, as only two dads in the trenches of modern parenting could do it. My name is Dave, and I'm a country music dad.
My name is Mick, and I am also a country music dad. And as always, thank you for joining us. It is the holiday season. Therefore, Dave and I thought it would be fun to share with you some of our favorite Christmas songs. But before we get into that, Dave, how are things in your world?
Things are a little Christmassy, more Christmassy than usual at this time of year because thanks to this episode and preparing for it, I've been listening to Christmas music way too early. It's way too early. I never do this. One radio station in LA, one of the country stations, at midnight, Thanksgiving night, it becomes a Christmas music station. It's not a country music station anymore. I always get so upset when that happens because we're driving a lot during the holidays, and sometimes I want to listen to the radio, and then I turn to the country station and no dice. I'm getting White Christmas over and over again.
Yeah, we can relate to that. Kate's favorite radio station is this 80s, 90s, early 2000s pop music station, and they do the same thing. They switch over to Christmas music this time of year. But she loves listening to Christmas music, so she likes it.
Yes, I've been listening to a lot of Christmas music to prepare for this episode, and in spite of myself, it's made me feel kind of festive.
Well, you look very festive in your sweater.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Christmas sweater. It's like 75 degrees outside. I'm probably going to be sweating shortly. I even poured myself some eggnog. It's almost noon.
There you go.
So cheers.
Are you a whiskey in the eggnog or a rum in the eggnog type of person?
I'm a whiskey in the eggnog kind of person.
I can go either way, but I do like eggnog a lot.
Yeah, you do? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I could see that.
Love eggnog.
Yeah, so I'm feeling festive, and that's a good place to be as we start the holidays. Holiday season can tend to get really busy and a little stressful with all the things to go do, people to see, gifts to buy.
Extra decorating, extra baking, extra school activities for the kids,
parties,
extra shopping, extra social events. Absolutely.
Especially with young kids like I have in my house. There's a magic to the season that I want to help them experience. And I get to experience it through their eyes too. So it's a nice reminder to keep things slow, take things slow and savor it a little bit and try not to let the busyness get to me. So
there is a lot of joy through children's eyes when you're decorating the house for Christmas. One of our favorite things to do as a family is to decorate the Christmas tree because each kid has their own box of ornaments. Every year they're written down and logged, who they received, which ornament from what particular family member. And it's just so fun to watch the joy and wonder in their eyes as they open them up every year and unwrap them. They're like, oh, I remember this one. Oh, I remember that one. Especially when you combine that with the stage of life they are in when they get each particular ornament. For example, Luke, when he was your kid's age, everything had to do with either fire trucks or construction vehicles. So he's got a lot of ornaments that are like fire trucks or dump trucks or whatever. The girls, were big into animals. So there's a lot of animal ornaments. We've taken different trips in the holiday season over the years. So you have an ornament that reminds you of like a family vacation as well. So you get to relive a lot of things is what I'm trying to say throughout the decorating of the Christmas tree process, at least in our house.
My mom kind of did that for me and my siblings and then gave it to us when we moved out. She didn't want us to have nothing on our Christmas tree. So I have all my ornaments that I grew up with. And my favorite ornament was always my Nolan Ryan ornament. He was one of my favorite baseball players.
Okay.
And so Nolan Ryan, mid-pitch, is the ornament. Like there's nothing Christmassy about it. He's not wearing a Santa hat or anything. It's Nolan Ryan. And since it was my favorite, I always wanted it to feature prominently. Every Christmas when I go put it up there, Kim's like, what is that thing? Why is there a baseball player on our Christmas tree? I'm like, nope, that's mine. And he's going to go up high, eye level. So yeah, what's going on with you, Mick?
Life's just full with a lot of stuff. Nothing bad or crazy, just school activities or is in full swing, but nothing out of the ordinary, just moving parts, the moving parts of life with kids, pure and simple, rolling along.
As I've been rolling along, I'll share my dad life soundcheck for this week. A couple weeks ago, and I posted this on our Instagram, I went to another show, American Aquarium, played at the Troubadour. I would call them a country adjacent band, much more of a rock band than a country band. But they've got a steel guitar, which is cool. Kind of more like a punk rock feel. The song that they open their set with is called The World Is on Fire. That one has been in rotation for me ever since seeing them perform it. I've shared it with a handful of friends. After our presidential election, things are pretty volatile out there. So I think that people are taking some comfort in a song like The World Is on Fire. And it kind of reminded me as things have gotten kind of volatile in the political landscape, it was a nice reminder that we always have art. We have music from whatever time we're in to help us kind of process our feelings about whatever's going on. So it's just an important thing that artists offer to us. BJ Barham is their front man. He's just a great showman. He was really into it, every single song. Took me back to my punk rock days, actually, back in high school, where if someone at the Troubadour would have started a mosh pit, I might have gotten in there and torn an ACL.
All right. I'm going to pay a little homage to a volatile artist who was recently named as the CMA Entertainer of the Year, Morgan Wallen. Now, when you say Morgan Wallen in country music, you're going to get an opinion in some way, shape, or form. And
yes, indeed.
I understand why. The man is volatile. The reason I chose him was to, one, give him props for being named the Entertainer of the Year, because that's a big deal. Now, you can like his music or you cannot like his music. You can call it country or country adjacent or whatever you want to call it, and that is fine by me. But all I know is the man has a big following and can put on a great show. I want to kind of go back to, what was it? This past April at Stagecoach, when he was the headliner there in Stagecoach. The Desert Sun newspaper out of Palm Springs wrote an article about it. The gist of the article was a lot of, the writer, I think they said they weren't that huge into country music and they wanted to go in there with all these preconceived notions about Morgan Wallen for all of his, past volatile exploits. By the end of the, however many songs in, and definitely by the end of the show, they were able to separate the person from the music. That gets me kind of thinking back to, what we as parents are always kind of telling our kids. We're oftentimes reminding them that you kind of have to separate things as you look about it in life. For example, they'll come home and they'll talk about, this particular teacher who is just like really mean. Well, is the teacher really mean, or are they just challenging you because they know what you're capable of? Things of that nature. So if you go back and if you look at the set list for Morgan Wallen's Stagecoach performance, it's been downloaded to YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube. But if you go through and you look at, how he performed, he did a Jason Isbell cover, and he tells the story as to why he did it. He brought Hardy on stage. He brought Bailey Zimmerman on stage. He performed with Ernest. Eric Church came out and sang a song with him. And to wrap it all up, he brought Post Malone out, and they brought down the house with their collaboration. So what the point I'm trying to make is, whether you like his music or not, Morgan Wallen knows how to entertain. He is the country music entertainer of the year, in my mind. Pure and simple.
I'll have to check out the Stagecoach set. I've seen him a couple times. He's very, very popular. His following makes him kind of a force of nature because so many people are into his stuff and can't get enough of it, and he's selling out stadiums and all this stuff. I saw him out here in LA a couple years ago, mostly to see Hardy, because Hardy was open for him on that tour. And actually, at the time, I felt like Hardy was a better performer than Morgan. Morgan seemed a little bit, I don't know, like robotic, or like he wasn't totally comfortable going through the motions of like, this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to run around. And It seemed a little less natural. I could see him getting better at that because he's getting lots of practice.
Oh, yeah. My favorite Morgan Wallen song is Thought You Should Know. And the reason I like this song is because he owns some of this erratic behavior. He knows that he has room for improvement. And how does he deal with that? Well, he deals with it by calling his mom and admitting some of the areas that, he has to improve. And that, to me, is just a great reminder of you can be on top of the world, but you still have to check in with your mother or your parents, and you have to admit that you're not perfect. That's why I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. I'm not a total Morgan Wallen hater. I can be critical of him sometimes, but that's a good song. I just looked it up. Miranda Lambert was one of the writers of that song, actually.
I did not know that.
Yeah, me neither. I looked it up because Hardy writes lots of his songs, so
Does
I
he
thought
still?
maybe
Does he still?
a little bit less
Yeah.
these days because Hardy's doing his own thing.
Well, what is Hardy's thing?
There's a lot going on in Hardy's world right now, and as the West Coast premier Hardy apologist, I want to bring you way more information about Hardy than you ever needed. In our last episode, I mentioned that Hardy and his wife Callie are expecting a child next year, making him a soon-to-be country music dad, which is very exciting.
Absolutely.
On Instagram, they did a gender reveal. So Hardy is going to be a girl dad. I've got all boys, so I had no idea what that's like. I was thinking about recording a message to send to Hardy to kind of encourage him, but maybe it should come from you, actually. I don't know if I can fully prepare him for what he's in for.
All I know is that he better be prepared to have his toenails painted.
Okay, that's all I got. What's going on the farm, if anything?
Times are changing, seasons are changing. Oftentimes I talk about that and how, that just makes the old urban farmstead, homestead look a little different. Lately, I've been focused on trying to batten down the hatches a little bit. I've had a couple cold snaps here, so you got to disconnect all the hoses so the pipes don't freeze on the outside. I have a lot of trees at our place, so it's a constant, battle's not the right word, but that's what pops into my mind. But it's just a constant of dealing with the leaves. Now, you'll have a lot of people that say, oh, just leave the leaves. They're good for the grass. Don't dispute that at all. But if they knew how many leaves my trees dropped, you would understand that I can mow quite a few leaves and still leave a lot of leaves on the ground to break down for the natural regenerative process of composting onto the grass. But the biggest thing this time of year that I do is chop firewood. We had a wood-burning fireplace, and we love fires at our house. We love to read in front of the fireplace. We'll play games in front of the fireplace, have it on for movie nights, whatever reason. We enjoy the ambiance that a fire provides. But that wood doesn't split itself. So someone has to do it, and that someone is me. So that's what I've been doing these last few days or week, whatever, working on getting the firewood ready.
That's great. You're doing the hard work to ensure a cozy environment for the winter at home. So,
and yes, that's the best way. That is the best way to sum it up. Snuggled on the couch with a roaring fire in the background, sipping on your eggnog or whatever your beverage of choice is, maybe watching a Christmas movie, Die Hard, or something.
All I'm missing right now is the fire. I don't have a fire going. Maybe I should change that.
I guess that is kind of the perfect segue into kind of what we wanted to accomplish on this episode, which was just talk about some of the music maybe that we want to have playing in the background while that fire is rolling. Dave and I both picked out some of our favorite Christmas songs, and some of them are classics. Some of them are new renditions of the classics. Some focus on the experiences that we have or want to have throughout this time of year. Without any further ado, Dave and I are going to share our favorite Christmas songs. And I'm going to kick it off with an artist who you could very easily say is the queen of Christmas country music, and that is Miss Dolly Parton. She has got so many Christmas songs. Some are original from her TV specials and movies, and some are just, her takes on the timeless classics, which is the one that I want to talk about first, and that is her rendition of Joy to the World. Now, the reason I love this song so much is that when you hear Dolly Parton's name or hear her singing, it puts a smile on your face. And that's what the song Joy to the World does to me. It just makes me feel good. It brings me a smile for the whole message of that song. And what better person to sing it in such a lovely way than Dolly Parton?
We haven't talked enough about Dolly on the podcast either. So
we have not.
More Dolly is good. More Dolly is good. And yes, iconic voice. What I've noticed as I was putting my list together, a lot of country artists do a Christmas album or they'll sing on a Christmas song. So there's lots of renditions out there. It's like kind of overwhelming, actually, like how much is out there. But it is, tried and true. Dolly Parton, can't go wrong with her. First one I'll share is Meet Me Under the Mistletoe by Randy Travis. Christmas music, it kind of evokes comfort and ease. And you mentioned like hearing Dolly's voice kind of just makes you happy. I think Randy Travis's voice does the same thing for me. It's just so smooth, and it sounds like a nice, soothing, crackling fire in your cozy house. Plus, romance is a theme that comes across in a lot of your classic Christmas songs. With all the holiday stressors out there, we were talking about how you need to make sure to be present for your kids and like enjoy that time with them. It's important to step back and enjoy your time with your spouse also and savor the season. Felt like that song kind of brings some attention to that. It's almost midnight, Christmas Eve. Let's meet. Let's set aside some time just for us and enjoy this. I hope it's midnight when I'm calling it quits on Christmas Eve. It's usually a little bit later.
Absolutely. So if you are going to make an argument that Dolly Parton is the queen of country Christmas songs, I think you can also make a strong argument that George Strait is the king of country music songs. I think on one of our previous episodes, you made mention to the fact that he's got like 7 Christmas albums or something. Is that the number?
Yeah, 7 or 8. He has like comically large number of Christmas albums.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And I don't remember which album this is on, and it doesn't matter, but one song that you'll hear quite a bit on, some of our local stations is his version of Silent Night. And with his timeless voice, singing a timeless song, it's just classic. It's just beautiful.
I knew I could count on you to get a George Strait song on the list, so that's why I didn't pick any. I was like, Mick's got that covered. I trust you.
Well, yeah. Can't argue with you there.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite Christmas song, actually.
It is one of mine as well. That and Joy to the World are probably, as far as the traditional, the timeless classics, those are probably 2 of my favorite.
Yeah, speaking of classics, my next song is by Willie Nelson. At first, I was going to pick Willie's version of Frosty the Snowman because it's just funny to hear Willie Nelson singing about Frosty the Snowman. And there are a lot of country artists that released versions of Frosty the Snowman, which I think is funny. These kind of serious country cowboys singing about Frosty. But I didn't, because there's another song called Pretty Paper that, for one, is an original. Willie wrote it, and it is just classic Willie Nelson, just his cadence of speech, that super unique voice. The richness of the images that he's painting with his words is just great.
I almost picked that one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It was on my short list.
Okay.
It really was. Yep. It was.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah,
it is. Okay. The next song, some people will say it is not a country song because it falls under the genre of rockabilly. But to me, rockabilly and country music really just crisscross paths a lot. A lot of the influences are the same. But Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by the iconic Brenda Lee, recorded in 1958 when she was 13 years old. It is probably one of the most timeless Christmas songs. Last year, it was the #1 Billboard Hot 100 song. The staying power that Brenda Lee has had with this song has just been amazing.
Yeah, I just learned that she was 13 when she recorded that. That's pretty crazy. And when
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier the queen of country Christmas, I thought you were going to say her actually, because
Well, and I can see why somebody would say that, but Dolly has so many, whereas Brenda Lee has got this one. Now, granted, it's a great one, and it probably gets played by every Christmas radio station there is a lot.
yeah,
But Dolly just has so many more.
I gotcha.
That's why I was kind of going that way.
Gotcha.
But this song is just, it's been used in so many different, it was in the movie Home Alone.
That's what it makes me think of,
And,
actually, is
yeah.
Home Alone every time.
Yeah.
I can't get Home Alone out of my head when I heard this song.
I think I'm just in awe of the staying power of this song.
Yeah. Next up for me is The Little Drummer Boy by Johnny Cash. Kind of in the same category as Willie Nelson. Johnny's got such an iconic, recognizable voice. Hearing him sing anything, covering anything, is going to be uniquely him. And so this one is, I think, a really cool kind of haunting rendition of Little Drummer Boy. And this song in particular, Little Drummer Boy, is meaningful to me because when I was in first grade, the same age as my oldest, I was the Little Drummer
Boy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was me. The whole class was singing, but my one job was to do the parumpa pum pum. And if I remember correctly, I knocked it out of the park.
I imagine you did. Because you were thinking about Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no one was watching.
While you were practicing in front of the Christmas tree.
Yeah, I couldn't disappoint him.
No, because then he'd just take you down. Like
that's
he did
right,
to
yeah.
Robin Ventura.
Yeah, high and tight. I'd have the fastball humming by my ear if I didn't get that right. Great song, Little Drummer Boy.
Yes, it is. I've heard that one many times. And you're right. Johnny's iconic voice is very suited to that song, especially the parumpa pum. Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely. The last in the category of what I would call the classic Christmas songs is by a relatively new up-and-coming artist by the name of Ryan Larkins. The song he's singing is White Christmas, and he just released this a couple weeks ago, but I found it on my Pandora Country Christmas song stream, and I was just immediately drawn to this. This song has got that, I don't know if I'm going to describe it right, but it's kind of got that brush snare drum sound in the background that you'll hear during a slow country waltz or a slow two-step, and you can just imagine people shuffling through the sawdust in some old honky-tonk, dancing the night away. This song really has such a country feel to it. It sounds so traditional that I think it's really, really going to do well for Ryan. And I hope it does because he just knocks it out of the park. It's awesome.
It feels like everyone does White Christmas. It's kind of hard to differentiate. Yeah, he does a good one. I know you like the deep baritone voices.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Next up for me is If We Make It Through December by Merle Haggard. And I think I would almost call this maybe like the Die Hard of country Christmas songs because it's taken place in December. He talks about Christmas. Like, is Christmas the central important factor in the construction of this song. Like, I think this song could take place at any time, but like, how much does adding Christmas add to a song like this? Does it add an extra emotional layer? And I think there are a lot of people out there that are going to defend Die Hard until their dying day as a Christmas movie. I wonder if there's a similar type of debate for this song.
I don't know. I understand the points you're making, and I agree with it. I have never really thought of it as a Christmas song, but in listening to a lot of country music, to your earlier point recently, I have heard this more than once.
I think it just gets looped in, and oh yeah, of course this is a Christmas song. Like, is it? Like, I think it's a really good song. I love the song. Very powerful. But yeah, it's interesting that it gets looped into your Christmas playlist. We're gonna do it for ours, so why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll defend it. I'll defend it as a Christmas song. I think it does add an emotional element to it.
And that's what the holidays are about, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're struggling to get through December. They want to provide certain things for their family, but they're not sure if they're going to be able to do it. That packs a punch.
Absolutely. All right. So I've kind of given you what I would call the classics so far. Now I'm going to start switching gears a little bit to maybe some what I would call the artist originals. The first one I'm going to mention is called Two Step Around the Christmas Tree by Susie Boggess. Susie wrote this song quite a while ago on a tour bus, like in northern Alberta, when there's like driving through the snow type thing. And so it's really got a winter feel for it. The Susie Boggess version might not be as popular as the Blake Shelton version that came out a lot more recently, but I'm going to go back to the traditional version because I really like Susie Boggess. I mean, I'm a 90s country kid, and she was I just really loved her voice. And it's just a fun song about just doing what you do on the holidays, you know, getting together with family and celebrating the way that works for you, for your family. And if in this case, it's rolling up the rug and dancing around the Christmas tree.
That song's super fun. I'd never heard it before, actually. Along the same lines, my next song is Country Christmas by Loretta Lynn. And it's kind of similar. It's a very like happy, upbeat song. A lot of great images. She's taking you back to what things were like celebrating Christmas for her family. The simplicity of all those images and the simple feel of the background instruments. Like, it sounds like he could be playing a washboard or blowing in an empty jug or something to make some of the sounds, and a couple of guitars.
And where Loretta Lynn grew up, there could have been a washboard and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you feel some like there's some connection there that's really meaningful to her. And being so separate from that, growing up in Southern California, if I put a song like this on while Kim and I are decorating the house or baking something, she would just shake her head at how deeply country this song is. So I can't wait to put it on.
Oh, that's awesome. So along the lines of when I said I almost chose Pretty Paper, I almost chose this song as well, but not the Loretta Lynn version.
Oh, okay.
Harper Grace came out with a version, last year or the year before. I can't remember exactly when, but I almost chose that one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
The next song I want to mention and pay homage to is called The Cowboy Christmas Ball by Michael Martin Murphey. Now, this song came out in 1985, but the history of what this song celebrates goes back to 1885. The story goes, at the Star Hotel in Anson, Texas, there used to be a country Christmas ball for all the local ranchers to bring their cowboys, bring their people in to the Star Hotel. So, as kind of a patronage, thank you for your patronage, celebration for all these ranchers in West Texas. And it went on for, many years in different shapes or form. It kind of drifted off a little bit, but then came back. But, when Michael Martin Murphey recorded this as a way to pay homage to that West Texas music lifestyle, I've always just been drawn to it because you can just hear the West in the style of the music on this song. And it's fun. And it's just a great way to celebrate the Western take on the Christmas holidays.
Super interesting. I was interested to hear what you had to say about that one, because to me, I'd never heard it. It seemed like a really deep cut from your 90s or 80s country archive. So it's cool that there's a story behind it, as opposed to you just pulling one out from the dark recesses of your upbringing. Good stuff.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Next up for me, Coetzel, one of my personal favorites. He came out with a Christmas EP last year in 2023, and I thought it was awesome. I'll Be Home for Christmas is my favorite. It's another very common song for a country artist to cover. I think it's just perfect for Co. He doesn't really do country music. He does rock music. But because of his kind of emo, kind of sad, dark songs he usually sings, I really believe him when he says that he'll be home for Christmas only in his dreams. To me, Co is missing Christmas for sure in this song, and it's probably his fault. He's coming to terms with that. Good old Co.
Yeah.
I'm glad I get a chance to listen to Coetzel during the Christmas season too.
All right, next on my list is a song called Christmas Again by Hunter Girl. Now, she's another up-and-coming artist that some of our listeners may or may not heard of. But she's got a voice that is very similar to someone like Megan Moroney's. She says that sweet Southern girl voice, not as raspy as Megan's, but you can tell that she grew up in Tennessee, which she did. But the song Christmas Again kind of falls into that category that we alluded to earlier of the emotional aspect of Christmas, the experiences that you want to have, or that are maybe oftentimes portrayed in the Christmas movies that are out there. So you could probably call this kind of a dreamy romantic song, but it works. She pulls it off. It's just a nice little song about wanting to celebrate Christmas again because of the romance that was involved around that time for her. With her voice, I hope that she can put out some new things and we can hear some more from her going forward, because she can sing. I mean, she was a finalist on American Idol a few
Yeah, I was going to
years
say
back.
I remember her on American Idol. I don't watch much American Idol, but that one time I had it on, she sang something, and she does have a really good voice. I don't know if it isn't really showcased that well on this song. So I see what you're saying. Like, you want to get her out there more. Like, let's hear some more. She's capable. All right, next one for me. We're going back to Dolly. More Dolly. Hard Candy Christmas. So I think this is just a great song by a great artist. I think it's subtle, it's deep, it changes tempo, it's sad and kind of cheery at the same time, which is just my favorite kind of country song. And a lot of the songs that I've picked, and a lot of country Christmas songs in general, they're like a little bit on the sad side, because the holidays can be a struggle for a lot of people for various reasons. I think this song really paints a great picture of that struggle. You're stressed, you lost someone, you're worried about the future, whatever it is. So yeah, good tune.
I almost picked this song too.
I figured.
But the Zach Top version.
Okay. How could you?
Well, because I already had Joy to the World.
Okay, that's true.
I didn't want to double up on Dolly.
Yeah.
So the history behind this song is also really interesting. The fact that it was featured in the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas movie. There's a little fun history behind it. All right, I am going to wrap up my choices with probably the funnest song that I have on my list. And as soon as I announce it, I can just hear that I can hear the eye rolls and I can hear the groans. But when you just stop for a second and you take this song for what it is, and the fact that it is just poking fun at all the holiday and Christmas tropes out there, Walker Hayes' Fancy Like Christmas is hilarious.
I know. I saw that on your list, and I was like, "Is Mick okay? Where, where is this coming from? The Hunter Girl to Walker Hayes? Like, what? This is so unexpected. I expected the deep cut from the '80s, but the fancy like yes, yeah, but the fancy like Christmas? Are you kidding me?
But it's fun, and that's what Christmas is supposed to be. Make fun of the lattes. Make fun of the Christmas jammies and everything. All
It
the
is fun.
little
Walker Hayes is a fun guy, so
yes.
I don't hate it. Yep, you're keeping me on my toes, man. Just
That's my
this is
job.
good. Yeah, keep it fresh. Fancy like Christmas. From Mick Fryermuth. Mick Fryermuth said it here. Fancy like Christmas. Sired up around your cozy fire.
In your Christmas jammies.
Yes.
I do not have any Christmas jammies, I will say. That's one thing that we never got into. We never got into the matching Christmas jammies.
Okay. Well, hey, there's an idea for if anyone's still shopping for Mick out there. He needs some Christmas jammies. Last song I'm going to share is All I Want for Christmas, Dear, Is You by Travis Tritt. And the reason I'm picking this one, it's just one word away from the most ubiquitous, iconic, epic Christmas song of all time, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. So I thought it was just great that this song it's like, when I first read the title, I thought, oh, is this a cover of that song, the country version of that song? Like, no, it's not. It's a totally, extremely country too. Just dripping with fiddle and steel guitar. It's a really fun song. And I love that, you've got Mariah Carey with her timeless beauty and that great voice. And that song is just everywhere around the holidays. On the other side, you've got Travis Tritt and his timeless mullet and this extremely country song that's kind of along the same lines, but in much different ways. I liked it a lot. It was actually written by Buck Owens also, so I'll throw in a little bit of California connection, but I like Travis Tritt's version a lot.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So I said that Fancy Like Christmas was my last song. But I have one more that I'm going to throw in here, and as an honorable mention submission to the list, thanks to Kelly. So last night when we were talking around, talking at supper, I explained what we were doing today. And she said, well, there's only one Christmas song. And I was like, well, according to you, but okay, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, Blue Christmas by Elvis. And I said, okay, because I know she loves that song. Her mom loves that song. She grew up with that song. That is like the most favorite song on her side of the family. And I was like, Elvis really isn't country. And she's like, well, he started off kind of country. If you want to make an argument that the fact that he did got his break at Sun's studio there in Memphis that also recorded a lot of country songs, I guess you could say that he was kind of country. But no, Elvis, his roots were in country music with his rockabilly and gospel influences and everything. So we will add it as an ode to my Christmas spirit to my wife. We'll put it in there.
Nice. And whether he's truly country or not, I mean, we've been all over the map today
Oh,
already.
of course.
Morgan Wallen and American Aquarium and Walker Hayes, thanks to Mick. We're all over the place. So I think it's highly appropriate to have Elvis on this list. That's another song that a lot of people have done. I was thinking about mentioning a version that somebody else did. My co-Wetzel, for instance, he did it. He did Blue Christmas. But you can't beat the King. You can't beat it. It's a great version. So
we have a Christmas ornament. We were talking about Christmas ornaments earlier. And when Luke was born, or right around the time Luke was born, my mother-in-law got a Christmas ornament of Elvis singing maybe a 20-second snippet of this song. And the kids loved it because they could go up on the tree and they could push the button and you just hear Elvis with his, and it's a blue Christmas without you. And I can't sing worth shit, but that's not the point. The kids loved it. And then a couple years ago, it died. And the family was just like really distraught.
Well, at least you were there to provide the backup vocals.
I did not. Yeah. What I was there to provide was not singing, but I was there to provide a link to somebody selling this ornament on eBay. So we were able to find a replacement.
That's excellent. My late grandmother loved Elvis. She's an immigrant from Okinawa, but she loved Elvis. She always loved Elvis. We'll be missing her this Christmas. And I think the one thing that she loved about Elvis, she would call it was his shiny butt. That was the word she had for it. And to this day, we're not 100% sure what she meant by Elvis's shiny butt.
She's talking about his nudie suit.
I guess, yeah. There's something about Elvis's butt that she was really did it for her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay, Grandma.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This wraps up our favorite Christmas songs. And we hope that you are able to find some Christmas spirit in this list. As always, if you need to catch up on any of the back episodes of the show or find a quick link to find our playlist, go to countrymusicdads.com. And that information is all there. Hopefully you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. And we really do appreciate listener feedback at countrymusicdads@gmail.com. And if you have a favorite Christmas song that we did not mention, let us know.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Until next time.
Until next time. Happy holidays. So when you have addendums, add-ins, add-ons, whatever to your eggnog, are you a whiskey in the eggnog or a rum in the eggnog type of person?
I'm a whiskey in the eggnog person.